You want to talk about this Doja Cat shit?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm about to give my shirt to Doja Cat because she's the iconic girl.
Period.
No, bitch, you deserve it. Literally, and if you ever want anything more, I got you, always. This is the girl here. I love you, Dad.
Happy Pride Month.
Pablo.
Nice to meet you.
Wait, what's your real name? Or is it Doja? Your real name?
Ami.
Ami? Ami, so nice to meet you, girl.
Nice
You're
to meet
beautiful.
you.
I hope you have the best night. You're literally everything in life.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ami, love you, Dad. Don't say thank you, thank you.
You smell great.
Okay,
I'm about
so
to give my shirt to Doja.
that's the interaction between Doja and a fan. This is what Doja texts and then, tweets, to your point, and then takes down later on. Bottom line is, I'll smile at you, but it doesn't mean I fuck with you, and don't touch me and manhandle me when you don't even fucking know me. If you know, you know. I honestly think I need to stand up for myself in the moment sometimes, and he didn't even know my fucking name to be touching me and kissing on me on my face like that. It's crazy.
Hi guys, I was just at a party and I got informed that
this.
Doja said some shit about me on Twitter. I just want to clear this up because it hurts, because I loved her. I watched her at Coachella. I've never claimed to be the biggest fan, but I really stand her and I think I thought she was I mean, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this is for publicity or for whatever, guys, but they show in person. I would have never said anything other than she's the sweetest girl ever, but I guess she went on a whole tweet rant about me.
Okay, so then people's takes are acting this fake in person in front of a fan and then totally bashing them on the internet. Like, how's anybody supposed to trust you? It's so funny to me that she's saying she hated that, how that gay treated her in that video, and this is dead her in the video, so real. And another person says, I don't think nothing about what she's feeling is wrong at all. She was just playing it cool on camera and knowing how people switch stories. She sure is a good actor, though, because I thought it was a cute moment. I think it's just a big misunderstanding, blah, blah, blah. And I've seen people on kind of both sides of this being like, she's fine to feel how she felt, and she even said that she needs to stand up for herself more and blah blah blah. I can give my take, but you go ahead first if you've got enough context.
No, man, you go ahead, man, because I think we finna agree.
Well, we'll see. Because my view is, what I saw somebody say is essentially what I think, which is that I don't think there's any real wrong parties here. I think that she's fine for what she felt. He's fine for what he felt. Though I will say, when I'm looking at her body language and behavior, because I feel like I'm a person like this. Like, I often have interactions where I'm being intentionally gregarious or trying to be friendly, or I don't want it to come across as fuck you, but I really don't necessarily like know this person or like this person, but I'm being friendly. And later on, people would be like, oh, Eddie, is that your homeboy? Da-da-da. Do you know him? Do you know her? And I'm like, no, I don't know them at all. Or low-key, I kind of dislike them. Like, I haven't grown to like them yet, but I'm being friendly. And that's a problem that I've not a problem, but that's a phenomenon I've often come across, is that people misread my friendliness as familiarity. But I don't necessarily blame that, because when I'm looking at some of these photos, when she's got the leg like up on the, like she raises up a leg to wrap around him during a hug. After he stops touching her, she steps again towards him and says, "You smell nice," which to me are things that, little nuances in interaction that go, I'm more or less okay with this interaction. However, there are things that I also note in her behavior that are like this kind of like, she's guarding the front of her body. She's drawing back a little bit. She's going to touch and then pulling back, which, for me, I would probably, if I were him, take a little bit of hesitance. But, and I think this is the important thing, I would not blame anybody for not reading that as disinterest. Like, I think that her, I guess you could maybe call it phoning behavior here, is so good that I wouldn't fault anybody for thinking that they were in a mutually enjoyed interaction with the other person. But I think that she's completely in her rights to be like, yeah, I was acting, I need to stand up for myself and indicate more clearly that I'm not okay with the full breadth of where this interaction is going. And I think that he's totally fine for not having read her like very well acted interest in the interaction as interest in the interaction. That's basically where I'm at.
Yeah, and again, like I figured that's where that will land, but I largely agree. The only thing I would say is that I think that when you're dealing with people that you don't know, you should err on the side of having pretty clear boundaries with things that are physical. So regardless of what vibes I'm getting on, like, I'm not gonna, like, I've had like situations where, like, Stuff got real laughy, giggly, you know what you call it. And I'm like, man, can I give you a hug? And you know what I'm saying? Like you can kind of, and I do think that you kind of got to do that in a way that you have to be very careful in a way to do that, to not make things more awkward than they need to be, in a way that, you know, in some situations doesn't necessarily kill the vibe. But like, I always err on the side of very strict consent with people that I don't know. And I would say I would probably be doubly active in that endeavor if it's a celebrity person that I'm just like rolling up on from that perspective. So I largely agree with you. I'd say 95% agree with you, but I would just say that in those particular situations, like I wouldn't, and I think her being a female celebrity, it just makes that particularly poignant.
Oh no, that's I would say the female part before the celebrity part, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but let's just say, like, if I roll up on fucking, I don't know,
Killer Mike,
or like somebody who I have seen out and about, right? Like I've seen T.I. just like in the streets like multiple times. Like I'm not finna fucking roll up on that nigga and just be like, "What's up, Tip? Give me like
okay,
chill."
So I think,
and he's also very
friendly
because T.I. is in the community, right? Like you can just see T.I. T.I. is also very friendly with folks. Like he's gonna be like, "Yeah, what's up, partner?" Like
I hear stories about people interacting with him all the time. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So he's very inviting. He's very much like a man of the people. And I think that even in those situations, like you still got to understand that he's being nice because like he's a nice guy, but I'm also not going to cross certain barriers. So while I agree with you, I think that if I were in that situation, I would have been very keyed in on needed to be invited explicitly to cross those physical barriers. My only caveat.
I think the invitation thing, I'll give you within that 5%. I think that when we have these conversations, I think that you sometimes overestimate the extent to which, like,
Edward. You know, it's one of my favorite places to go.
The graves of your enemies.
100%. But a strong number 2 is the barbershop.
True.
Right? And I think that encapsulates the feel that we're trying to get from this podcast. It's a community. We're here to tell you that you can take that community home with you. We've been kind of chopping it up, experimenting with some different formats. But if you like the long form content, that community is a place where you can get access to it. You don't just have to watch the 15 to 20 minute clips. You can watch the full hour 30. You get 10% off of our new card game In All Seriousness, which is double the cards, double the fun. Also, as a part of the community, you become a part of our inner circle. You can join the Discord, get some barbershop talk in you, have some conversation with like-minded individuals, mostly sane, a bit eclectic. Your boys in and out of there.
We're a little weird. That's true.
We're a little weird, 100%. But it's become something that we're very proud of, that continues to grow. And so make sure that you're locked in and take advantage of the opportunity to take the barbershop home with you.
Or you imply, and within that implication, there's like an overestimation of how much those extra little things can eliminate all of the unclear areas like this thing. Because if that guy had said, "Hey, Doja, can I give you a hug?" I would be willing to bet you money she would have said, "Yeah," like in that moment, because she's doing this fawning thing, which includes that kind of shit. And she does all of that. She does things like that. She does these, fawning yeses, which if a person's really tuned in or really on the more, they might be like, actually, no, it's okay. Or they might not even ask to begin with. But assuming that asking the question means that you will never overstep a boundary just doesn't capture enough for me to agree on that 5%.
No, that's fair.
And so when I look at that, I'm like, there's a lot of stuff that he does. Okay, first of all, she began the interaction. He didn't roll up on her. She rolled up on him because she liked his shirt. She commented, "Hey, I like your shirt." He said, "Oh, it's part of a collection that I made." She said, "Oh my God, can I have one?" And he goes, "Hey, can I have you can have this one." And she goes, "You're not going to give me that shirt, are you?" And he goes, "Yeah." And that's when the video starts. And that's the context that he gave of that interaction. I'm not saying that means that everything matters, but I think that's context for when we're measuring how do two people communicate about how comfortable they are in an interaction. So if I'm looking at him, the things that I'm looking for, because I wouldn't, I wouldn't necessarily say, "Hey, can I hug you?" Because I would never. I don't generally initiate hugs with a woman that I don't know yet.
People like I have very clear, and the reason. So yeah. But my only caveat before and I'm sorry for butting in, but like I feel that same way too, and it's like I have very clear personal space things. So like, don't touch me without asking. So like I try to give that same courtesy to other people. Yeah.
Okay. And that's and that's fair. I think that the thing that for me is I would let the other person initiate, or I'm looking for body language cues more than like there's a way that a person kind of steps to you or opens their body towards you that indicates like they're looking for a hug rather than a handshake. Because usually I just defer to like, let me shake this woman's hand. But if I get the sense that she's like wanting a hug and I'm also comfortable with giving a hug, then cool, we'll do that. That's kind of where I measure it. Open for notes on that. When I'm looking at Doja Cat, if I go to hug a woman and I've had this with varying degrees of comfort on my part and they do the fucking leg wrap, I'm now mostly thinking about my boundaries. Because if I hug a person and they wrap their leg around me, I'm going, you're good. I'm wondering whether or not I'm comfortable with this. So when I'm looking at that, I wouldn't fault a person for going, yeah, Doja's definitely comfortable with this. Which am I though? And so those are all of the indications that to me are non-verbal. Like to your point, when you're being cautious, you don't look just for words. You look for shit that a person is doing with their body.
Yeah.
So,
which is why, like I said, I figured we were going to be fairly in step with this. So I think your take is again spot on. I'm still in my 5%. I'm still in my 5%.
Yeah, I'll give you like 1% of that 5% on like maybe being because he initiates the touch. So I'll give you that. But pretty much everything else in that 5% I disagree on. But that little 1% I'd be like he did grab her, like he started with that, which I wouldn't have done. The way that she responded afterward, I could imagine being confusing. But I'll definitely agree with you on rolling up on a celebrity and then going to grab as a guy to a woman, grabbing her like that is, I don't think it's evil, but it's maybe risky. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a fair place to leave it.
Yeah. I'm content with that. This is, yeah.
Were you were you finna close it out? Or you
no, I wasn't.
This is waving the rip.
I wasn't finna close it. I was finna say.
It's a red flag.